Yeah, it was difficult. That and a lot of respect to Coach Traylor and his program, the way that their guys play. A ton of respect, and they won tonight, and he found a way to make sure that his guys played their best at critical times, and we didn't. And unfortunately, I think it's easier to stomach losses when you play Clemson and you get just outmatched. But it's hard to, because I know how we practice. I know what we show them. I know how they're taught, and so at some point, it's always going to fall on me, right? And we've got to make, I think, harder decisions heading into these last 5 weeks. We've got 2 weeks to figure that out. But we've got to play the guys that can consistently at least just do what they're taught to do. And if we can figure that piece of the puzzle out, we're going to have a chance. And I'm angry that we didn't. Tonight in the second half, and it happened in the first half too. There were some errors that were masked, but yeah, it's one thing to get beat. It's another to feel like the opponent executed better than you, and I know what we're teaching, and I know how we practice that, and so I've just got to evaluate how we get the guys, the right guys on the field that can execute at a very, very consistent rate.
Were you guys planning for Omari to be out tonight, and how much did his absence impact the passing game?
Yeah, he tweaked his hamstring Tuesday or Wednesday in practice. Can't remember which day, and it was pretty obvious by Thursday that he wasn't going to go, and I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it affected the passing game some, but I don't know how much.
When you look back and there were some opportunities in the first half, you feel like you as a team, you left points out there in the first half that might have made a difference?
Yeah, we fumbled in the red zone, and that was huge, and then we gave up a 95-yard drive for a touchdown. So when you're playing on the road, you're playing really good teams, you can't afford those kind of mistakes, and we made them, and I got to figure out how to not make them in the future.
Well, what was kind of the difference, at least if you see any, from last week's explosive performance to this week where things dialed back a little bit?
Different opponent. I mean, this is a team with 8 of 11 starters back, and they're averaging giving up 95 yards a game rushing, and so we knew this probably wasn't going to look like 517 yards, but it needed to look a whole lot better than it did, certainly in the second half. And it'd be too premature for me to give you a good reason for why that happened.
Coach, I saw a rotation at the cornerback position. Primarily, I noticed that Day wasn't on the field. Was that injury related or coach decision?
Yeah, hurt his ankle early in the game and couldn't return. Jacob Merrifield, on that note, hurt his knee, couldn't return. Cam Fancher, calling it an upper extremity, had to get x-rays after that last hit. And then Jaden Williams was a foot. I got to figure out, because he was dealing with an ankle, I don't know if that's related or not.
Speaking of Jay Will, I mean, he made 2 huge plays defensively, and as did Wendell, and kind of gave you a chance to get at least a spark there and chance to win the game.
Those 2 guys, when they're in, have been very, very consistent for us on defense, and so I was pleased with that. And certainly when Jay Will was unable to return, that affected us.
Coach, when there's a lack of execution, for a better term, on offense, what kind of challenges does that present to you as a play caller to try to get creative and create openings for your guys?
You haven't seen this movie before as an offensive guy over my, whatever it is, 25 years now. you know, you have to be careful that you don't just start grab bagging when a run goes for 1 yard or a pass gets pressured and you panic and say, okay, well, we got to do this now or we got to do that. And so we got to do the plan better, you know, and that is, and you're right. It's our job as coaches to make sure that our players can athletically execute that plan, right? And so we felt like they could. We've seen them do it in preparation and in practice. Yeah, so I think it is frustrating, yes, as a play caller or whatever, you know, how that feels or the mentality. I've just said, hey, we've got this plan and we know that the plan is viable. We've just got to go out and lock our guys in and execute. So there were times when I felt like we needed to maybe just try something completely different, but having done this for long enough, that's usually not the answer. The answer is do what you know works and just do it better.
You mentioned some decisions that need to be made over the next couple weeks. Is there anything specific that stands out that needs to be improved or changed over the next couple of weeks to you?
Assignment. I mean, if we can, when our defense coordinator calls man-to-man coverage, at least don't let the guy go and play a different coverage. And so those are the, you know, throw hot when you're supposed to throw hot. You know, make an out call to a blitzer up front when you're supposed to. It's like every week it feels like is a new week, and we can't continue this way. And so something's got to give. And you know, I don't know, because I don't know. I do know that we have 22 guys that'll do the right thing 95% of the time. So we just got to figure out if those guys, if we can get those guys ready in 2 weeks, you know, to go compete.